For the best sports in Lorain, that's TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
Hello and welcome to George Daniel Field for some exciting middle school football action. We have the General Johnnie Wilson Eagles against Wiley Middle School. Wiley coming from the Cleveland Heights District. And by the way, I'm Hyatt Hernan along with Zach Truman.
Absolutely.
Zach, what do you think of today's game?
Well, I think today's game is going to be pretty well fared out with the defenses. The defenses are going to cancel out each other's offense. I'm not sure whether from there, but I hear that both teams are pretty well. General Johnnie Wilson has got a strong offensive line, and I also have seen Wiley's defensive line is pretty well-rounded as well. So I think it should be a pretty fair ball game out there tonight. But there's always surprises happening in every single game.
And we should mention Timothy Miller making his first start as quarterback for General Johnnie Wilson. It's their last home game, and you'll see it next on WLCS TV 20 after these messages.
McGruff the crime dog here. We've all heard of identity theft. Now I'm going to show you how those thieves do it. Watch. He's secretly photographing her credit card with his cell phone. Now watch. They pretend they have a package to deliver, and while they're trying to fit it in the mailbox, they're taking her credit card payments and other paid bills. To learn how to protect yourself from identity theft, go to weprevent.org. Keep your identity to yourself and help take a bite out of crime.
And we're back here at George Daniel Field as Wiley Middle's offense takes the field, preparing themselves for the first drive of the day here in this first quarter. Zach, what do you like to see from a first drive?
Personally, for me, I like to see a touchdown first drive. That's what every single coach goes out saying. But you got to think about the offenses, and these are just two young teams still trying to make a name for themselves. But I'd say that first of all, I think they're going to try to establish the run play first of all for Wiley. But I don't know. It's still up in the air. No one really knows yet what's going to be the beginning drive. But we will see surely soon enough, as soon as they begin.
And some confusion down on the field as to when the starting time will be.
I must say, this is a very bright-looking game, though. I mean, we got pink, we got yellow, we got white, we got blue. This is an amazing array of colors we have right here on the field. And we were talking with some of the players earlier before the game started. They actually said that pink is a lucky color.
Well, we'll see if that luck comes out tonight. The first snap for Wiley, short. That's Hayward Algic with the ball wrapped up, tackled 5 yards short of the line of scrimmage. Brings up 2nd and 15. Not the best way to start that first snap for Wiley.
No. What a horrible way to start the beginning of a game. But I'm sure they'll rebound back from that one.
And so Wiley lines up for 2nd and 15.
Hayward on the center.
Algic awaiting the snap. Takes it. The handoff. Almost wrapped up short is Reeves. Reeves taking it to the right side, trying to find some room. He's eventually brought down by Brandon Sturgill. He was able to get 4 on after being met by a bunch of Eagles in the backfield. And we'll see it here.
He did a good job of recovering off of that poor handoff, but he wrapped back around and he had some good defenders. As you see how they all come back into motion. Nice block by number 50. And then he eventually gets tackled on down by Brandon Sturgill.
And Jerome Reeves, his first carry of the game, goes for 4 on what could have lost 4 or more. And Wiley lines up their offense for 3rd and 11. Algic in the shotgun. Gets the snap, it's low again. Throws it desperately off to the side. That is incomplete. The intended receiver, Jordan Merritt. And that brings up 4th down and 11 for Wiley.
While we're at it, how about we go ahead and announce the fact that General Johnny Wilson, their 7th grade football team, just beat Bedford just yesterday, 14-12. And also another stat we have to say is our 8th grade General Johnny Wilson football team is actually currently 2 wins and 2 losses. Their previous win was against Longfellow, and their previous loss was just by Heritage, not too long ago.
Yeah, just last week, and the punt goes straight up for a net gain of about 2 yards for Wiley. So good field positioning for these General Johnny Wilson Eagles for this General Johnny Wilson Eagles offense starting off.
That was a quick 4 and out real quick, wasn't it?
So
as we get to the offense of the General Johnny Wilson Eagles, why don't we go ahead and just announce a quick statement real quick about the quarterback switch up they had. So it looks like Brandon Sturgill will not be their current quarterback. It will be Timothy Miller, number 15. Brandon Sturgill will be switching out to a wide receiver, and on defense, as you already seen, a great tackle, he's going to be playing defensive back.
And so the whistle blows. Timeout called. Wiley right before the first snap of the day for the General Johnny Wilson offense. Timothy Miller not able to get his first playoff quite yet.
Not yet.
He played a bit last week against Heritage. Obviously, they lost that game quite badly. I believe the score was 42-6. The final was.
Another notable comment we have to say as well is number 49 for the Wilson Eagles, Dominique Smith, is also on the not able to play list due to some activity, but he will definitely be back for the team next week.
And he is their leading rusher, so
absolutely,
that's a pretty big loss. But when you're a football team, you're a complete team. You have to overcome those kinds of losses. And I don't think we'll see it affect them too much today.
It's a we kind of thing, you know. Like coaches are always told every single athlete in the world, there's no I in team. You have to go out there, work as a team, work with people. You can't just work by yourself. It's a team effort.
So Timothy Miller coming back to the line, awaiting his first snap for his first full start at quarterback for General Johnny Wilson. He takes the snap. The quick pass over Sturgill's head, attempting to throw to the former quarterback. And that will bring up 2nd down and 10 for Timothy Miller and this General Johnny Wilson offense.
And by the looks of things, you look at both ends of the sidelines, and you look at how Wilson has got a pretty decent bench, but then you look over at Wiley and you see that they only have three other players dressed. You hope to God that there's no one else getting injured on this field.
So 2nd and 15, the snap is fumbled. Wiley recovers. It was 2nd and 15 because that backwards pass counts as a fumble, but it doesn't matter now. It's fumbled again, and Wiley recovers at the 41-yard line. So Wiley's offense taking over. A lot of bad snaps to start this game so far. And you'll see it here on the replay, just Timothy Miller never getting a complete hold of that ball. Maybe because he's not used to taking snaps very much. Again, this is his first full game at quarterback.
I think by the end of the game, by the end of the first quarter, I'd say he'll have it all under grips. He'll have his natural critique back on playing offense.
So Heritage, Wiley with Reeves taking the snap, able to get past some tacklers and make it across the 50 to the 45. So it's a 1st down for Wiley at the 45-yard line after the run from the Wildcat for Jerome Reeves. And that's something interesting that has kind of sprouted up in football recently, the running back taking the direct snap.
Absolutely. Because basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to give everyone else a break, and besides you look at the defense is not really prepared for a quarterback snap. I mean, a quick quarterback run. But the thing is that their offense has disguised it so well. So but on that play, they apparently didn't.
Yeah, Aldrich taking the snap immediately brought down for a 1 or 2 yard loss. Things just kind of fell apart there. Quickly for this Wiley offense. And after a good gain on the last play, that's not what you want to see.
Absolutely not. What you want to see is you want to have them be able to throw the ball out a little bit, give the ball off to the running back, and hope to God he gets in the end zone for an extra 6.
And so that is Reeves coming back out in the shotgun. He takes the snap, starts running to the left, finds some room, shakes a tackler down the sideline.
Just knocked out about the 15-yard line.
Finally brought down at the 15 by Darrell Davis. He is the speedster on this team. And
absolutely, as you guys may remember from last week, he's the one that stopped the touchdown from happening.
But there is a flag on the play. You'll see that thrown on the replay. A good job by Jerome Reeves finding his way through tacklers. But this one could be coming back. And it is.
And it is.
So a good gain, another good direct snap run for Reeves, taken off the board.
2nd down and 15.
The penalty was, I believe, lining up offsides by the offense. Not a false start because no one moved early, but they lined up.
And if you guys are at home watching this right now, you guys have to remember this is still a middle school game. They're not completely aware of all the rules yet. They're still learning as they're playing. That's the best way to learn something new, is you got to be able to do it.
So 2nd and long coming up for this Wiley offense. The snap, a deep throw, just over the head of Anthony Cook. The throw was from Aldrich, who has been switching in and out at quarterback with Reeves. And that one was just over the heads of everybody.
This team doesn't seem like it knows exactly who should be their quarterback yet. Looks like they're still in a discovery kind of stage. Still trying to find out something.
Well, Aldrich showing he has the arm to play quarterback. Maybe not the accuracy yet, but this is still 8th grade football we're talking about.
I do want to say something about the Wilson Eagles defensive back. Number 8 for them, which is Nazier Johnson. Littlest guy on the team, but you know, he plays with so much heart and he plays with so much aggression. He can just about tackle a 250-pound man if he had him running straight toward him.
Aldrich, the pass to Reeves. Reeves shaking some guys off of him, making a long run, able to get the 1st down on what was kind of a short pass. A screenplay here, and you'll see Reeves just quickly getting the pass, but he had blockers and he had lanes, and he was able to find his way free. Just barely getting the 1st down. And so Wiley now with good field position at the 32-yard line after capitalizing on a General Johnnie Wilson fumble.
As we're peeking in on the huddle for General Johnnie Wilson's offense, we're looking at Mr. Donovan Wilson. That's one of the 2 main coaches for the Wilson Eagles. And so far they seem to be doing a great job. It's 2-2, 50% on the season so far, but they still got a couple more games to go.
And so the Wiley offense comes back on after the timeout. Here in this 1st quarter, the score is still 0-0. Both teams have had possession of the ball so far. General Johnnie Wilson fumbling a snap on their 1st possession. And so Wiley was able to take over, and they've taken advantage, driving the ball all the way down to the the General Johnnie Wilson, 31-yard line. Of course, General Johnnie Wilson wearing those Lorain jerseys, part of an attempt to unify the city's schools. And the snap, low once again.
Haywood yet again threw a little bit too low for us. for his wide receiver. But there was the defense to try to pick it up, but just cannot get both his mitts on that ball. So close.
So the only completed pass for Wiley so far was the short one to the running back.
And you have to wonder, why would he throw it into a two-man covered? He has a man that has two men on him, completely well guarded. Yeah, you got to think, what did he see that we didn't see?
Well, he's down on the field. We obviously have probably the best view in the house up here. As Aldrich takes the shotgun snap, another quick pass to Reeves. This time he's met by a man and he drops the ball, able to fall back down on it. Flag on the play. That was Timothy Miller, the quarterback, who was able to shoot down into the backfield and wrap up Reeves. The ball came flying out.
22, Douglas Jackson tried to make the nice block, but just could not move his feet fast enough to swat off the defender.
The penalty on Wiley declined, so that brings up 3rd and long for this Wiley offense. That didn't stop him before on this drive, as that same quick pass play to Reeves was able to get the long first down.
Reeves seems like he's going to be taking over this team for the day.
Yeah.
I believe him and Haywood are going to be the main two players on this team. The receivers are trying to get open, but just the defense of the Eagles are just doing a little bit better of a job.
Well, Aldrich in the shotgun, looking to throw, sends it down the field. That is in and out of the hands of Anthony Cook.
And there goes that man, Nazir Johnson, yet again. Like I said earlier, little guy, but he plays with a big heart, big head on his shoulders. He said, you are not keeping that pass in your hands. Knocked it straight out of his hands.
Well, we'll see on the replay. A good pass right where he wanted it to go. Anthony Cook just not able to haul it in, and a good job by Nazir Johnson to knock it out of his hands, despite the height difference there. Absolutely. On that matchup. And so it'll be a punt for Wiley.
He's playing great, isn't he, out here? All of them are, actually.
And it's a fake punt. Cook will take it himself, trying to find room, but he is brought down short by Brandon Sturgill, who wrapped him up and threw him to the ground, and that makes it first down, General Johnny Wilson. I'm not sure if he could have gotten all the yards he needed. That was 4th down and 17.
He was moving pretty quick, as fast as lightning it looked like, but he was just wrapped up yet again by 29, Brandon Sturgill. He may not be the quarterback, but you know, he's still going to be a game changer, even on the defense. He's not going to give up.
And so General Johnny Wilson takes over again. That's Miller with Brown behind them and Davis in the halfback position. Davis, the speedster. We'll see if they use him here. Miller with the quick handoff to Brown. Brown finding some room. About 4 or 5 yards on the carry for Jack Brown.
A little keynote for the viewers watching. Dominic Smith is not playing, as we announced earlier. So that would be Thomas.
I think that was Jack Brown.
Oh, I apologize. Jack Brown, he's the one that's going to be taking over the role for Dominic Smith today.
And he is currently the leading rusher, not counting Smith. So Miller taking the snap, another quick handoff to Jack Brown.
That is the reason why you have 2 men working the booth, because if you don't have 2, you don't know what you're talking about half the time.
And so it's a first down for General Johnny Wilson. Well, maybe not with the spot. I thought Jack Brown was able to get across. It looks like he's across there at the 46. And they're going to say it's still 3rd down.
But you have to look at it. It's 3rd and about, if 1 yard. Chances are still pretty likely. They have 2 downs still left to go. The snap of the ball.
Miller with the handoff to Davis. Davis is going to get the first down.
Absolutely.
Not much more.
And
he's
then some.
Brought down at the 50. But still pivotal, moving the chains into Wiley territory.
I really love how they're giving the ball out and just distributing it very well. Straight flat in the chest, and you better plow yourself on through that defensive line.
And so General Johnny Wilson gets their first down of the day. as Miller comes under center. Brown and
58.
Davis behind him. The toss to Davis. Davis finding some room to the left side, using that speed to get away, brought down from behind, but not until getting across the 30.
They have just entered their opponent's 25-yard line.
And so the ball spotted at the 29-yard line. Though he was thrown out of bounds, it appeared he landed at the 25. I think they're going to say his foot went out of bounds.
Okay.
At the 29. Still a
We'll see on the replay.
A good use of Davis's speed, able to get ahead. And yeah, he's down, foot out about the 29. And Miller hurrying to the line. He's going to keep it himself to the right side. He's found some room. Fakes one tackler, cutting it back towards the inside, down the sideline. He's brought down at about the 12-yard line. But another good run for this General Johnnie Wilson offense. They're now in the red zone for the first time today. The score is still 0-0 in this first quarter, but General Johnnie Wilson knocking on the door now.
First and goal. This is going to be an interesting one, guys. Let's see, if you had to go for first and goal, what would be your first play to start off the drive? What would you do?
Well, they still can get a first down at the 3-yard line. He was brought down at the 13-yard line. And so if they can make it inside the 3 without scoring a touchdown, obviously, they will get a first down. So no need to drastically change your plan here. And they won't, as it's still Miller under center with Brown and Davis.
42 in motion.
Miller under center, drops the snap again, picks it up, fumbles the ball. That could have been bad for General Johnnie Wilson. Miller recovering 2 fumbles on the play, one from his own snap, another when he tried to pick it up and run with it. That could have been bad for General Johnnie Wilson, huh, Zach?
Absolutely, that could have been horrible. But you know what? They're still pretty close to the end zone. As long as they keep their heads on tight, I think we're going to see 6 points put up on that board.
And so a timeout for General Johnnie Wilson. No, I believe it's the end of the first quarter. And so we'll be back after some messages here at George Daniel Field. The score is 0-0, Wiley, General Johnnie Wilson.
Come on, buddy. Let's go.
Dad, did you ever do drugs?
Yeah, I did, and it was a dumb thing to do. But no one ever talked to me about it. My dad never talked to me about it.
Talking to your kids about drugs can be tough. Need help? Get help. Visit our website at drugfree.org.
And we are back with the second quarter of this football game. So far, the score is 0-0. Defenses are canceling out the offense. So we're going to see what else happens in the second quarter for today. Hi, so what's your opinions about the first quarter?
Well, the score is still 0-0. General Johnnie Wilson has shown they've had the best drive of the day so far. They started off with pretty good field position, but they've been impressive running it down the field here. They're in the red zone right now. We'll see what they can do to put points up on the board.
Miller under center, hands it off to Jack Brown, the replacement. And he just gained about a yard on that play. Both teams go back, get into the huddle. Nothing else better to me than seeing a whole team communicating in a huddle, I believe. Don't you love the communication about these young guys out here?
Yeah, I like the communication, but they really need to get something going here. It's 3rd and 9. I'm not sure if they can get that running. They've shown they can get long gains on the ground, but Wiley will definitely be looking for that. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pass here.
Miller decides to take it himself as he just wraps around, shakes a defender, must not even knew he was there. He has wide open to the left. He's going. Flag is thrown. He's just tackled about the 5. But I don't know. I think that flag might be drawing that play completely back.
I think he may have almost had enough yardage to get the first down, but this flag could bring this one back.
We'll see what the ref's decisions are.
The ref's discussing the call.
As Timothy Miller is walking off to talk with his coach for a second. the refs are still a little befuddled about what they're going to decide.
Well, I think it very well could be against General Johnny Wilson. As we'll see on the replay, Timothy Miller finding room to escape.
Might have been a little holding call, you think?
Yeah, a lot of the times in this, maybe right there when a man got brought down, or right there, Brandon Sturgill kind of making some contact with the defender. Either way, Timothy Miller appears to be brought down at the 4-yard line, which would be short for the first down. The call still being discussed.
We should have a result in the matter in the next minute. Hopefully. All right. Holding, yes.
Holding on General Johnny Wilson declined. So instead of taking the yardage, Wiley bets on their defense to stop General Johnny Wilson in this 4th and short.
4th and about 2. Do you think they'll get the...
Well, we'll see here. They want a little bit more time to think things over.
Johnny takes the timeout. Apparently the timeout from the refs not being able to make their decision wasn't time enough. But, you know, they will decide on this timeout.
Well, it gives me time to tell this TV20 audience to vote on issue 39. Lorain City Schools needs a levy. It has been 20 years since the last passed operating levy. Local, state, and federal funding has been cut. The school district has taken all the steps they possibly can. 132 employee positions eliminated since January 2012. Employee pay freezes and givebacks. Employees have given back almost $2 million in health care costs to the school district. The levy costs only about 30 cents a day for a home worth $75,000, and it only will last 7 years. Then the taxpayers will decide on a renewal. If issue 39 passes, all-day kindergarten, high school busing, and other key student programs will return. So remember to vote on issue 39.
As both teams come back to the line, 4th and about 2. Eagles have to think about what player they're going to call. Should we go with a run? Should we just run it up around the middle or around the side? I apologize. Or should we just run it up the middle and just take it? Hopefully we get a plus of yards. Decides for a throw to 29, just a little over his hand. So they will be turning the ball over.
Well, Timothy Miller trying to get the pass to Brandon Sturgill, the former quarterback. We saw him overthrow Sturgill earlier in this game, and it's the same thing here. I'm not sure if I wouldn't have ran it on that play. It seemed like they were successful running the ball the entire drive.
I do agree.
4th and short, you want to try something different to throw the defense off. It just didn't work out there. Wiley takes over.
And this time of the game, I'd really try to, since the scoreboard's still even at 0-0, I'd still like to get Jack Brown a little bit more playing time to see what he's like, you know. But enough talking about that possession. As we get ready with Homewood, he Reeves with the ball, runs around right, just tackled, I believe, for
looked like it
no result.
Looked like it could have maybe been a gain of 1. We've seen Reeves in this wildcat-like formation before, taking the direct snap. It worked better in the past.
Yeah,
this time, General Johnny Wilson meeting him at or near the line. Looks like a 1-yard gain.
Wilson see that play coming, and they knew exactly where the ball was going.
So that brings up 2nd and 9 for this Wiley offense. As they come to the line.
They square on down, get ready, the offensive line, defensive line, about ready to meet. Looks like they try to go for a quarterback draw, but they are stopped before they could even get the ball off to the quarterback.
Well, the snap was fumbled once again for Wiley.
Still Wiley's ball, 3rd down and 10 to go.
We'll see it on the replay. Just a little bit of trouble handling that snap. We've seen that for both teams.
A little bit of miscommunication there, just like you just said, Hyatt. makes you wonder what's going on with the offense. Is it a communication error, or is it just like two teammates are not having a great understanding of each other? Or could it be just both things altogether?
Well, I'm not sure. It's happening to both teams, but we were down on the field earlier. It seemed like it was in pretty good condition, so it's likely not that. Maybe just miscommunication all around for both teams so far.
They give it back to
Aldrich looking to throw, overthrows his man again.
Just a little bump, but you know, it still did not come down with that ball. Ball was completely overthrown, it looked like. As they get ready for 4th and 10, what do you expect from them? Do you expect them to try to go for it in this kind of station, or do you just believe they're just going to try to punt it off?
Well, first we'll see the replay. Another low snap. Nazir Johnson with a bit of contact there. Wiley's sideline looking for a penalty. Nothing thrown. And I do believe that is the punt formation for Wiley. I'm not sure if you want to go for it when you're inside your own 10-yard line when the score is still 0-0.
Absolutely. It looks like Cook is in the back. Little fumbled off snap. He's trying to break something free, and they turn the ball over about the same spot where they were just trying to kick it off at.
Well, these snaps have been a problem all day for both teams. Another one there. I don't know if that was a design fake or if he was supposed to punt it. We saw one of each earlier, and nothing there for Cook trying to make something out of the botched snap. And so, really, General Johnny Wilson just moved back 4 yards from that 4th down failed conversion, and they have 1st down and goal at the 8-yard line. A good opportunity for them once again, and one that they do not want to waste.
You have Timothy Miller under center. That's Thomas Gillespie. He hands it off. And touchdown. Touchdown, Jack Brown.
Jack Brown filling in.
That is number 6 points up on the board. Numero 6. Let's get 6 more up on that scoreboard. And the score now is 6-0 as Wiley is trailing by a touchdown. That was a great play by Timothy Miller, and a nice handoff to straight dead point blank in the chest of Jack Brown, as we see it on the replay right now.
Well, we've seen the quick handoff to Jack Brown quite a bit. This time he's finally able to find some room, break into some open field, and we'll see General Johnny Wilson trying to make it 8-0 here, lining up for the 2-point conversion. Miller taking it himself to the right side, and he's in
for an extra 2 points.
Nothing. General Johnny Wilson. The touchdown by Brown. And the 2-point conversion by Miller. The 2 replacements making it 8-0 for General Johnny Wilson.
Seems like a great roster change to me so far. But then again, it's just the beginning of the game. But we will see definitely by the end of this game to see whether they're going to try to keep this same ball game going for the next following games to come. See if they're going to keep Timothy Miller at quarterback and if they're going to keep Jack Brown. That's supposed to be the replacement for right now for the current absence of Dominique Smith, number 49 for the Wilson Eagles. We hope that we can see both those players back in their natural positions, but then again, if the coaches like what they're seeing right now, they're going to keep them out there.
Well, trust me, the better player is going to win the job. And today I think Timothy Miller and Jack Brown respectively have put up a pretty good argument. Again, a little bit of the fumbling of the snaps, but you expect that when it's your first full game. Wiley, I'm not sure what the problem is, but they need to get on top of that and fast, giving up a touchdown on the fumbled snap.
Just another bobbled handoff and another bobbled snap. I don't think that they really have this set down, but if I was the coach, I'd really be practicing snaps. I'd practice a whole game full of a whole practice full of snaps. Yeah. Snap that ball to your quarterback and make sure he has enough protection to throw that ball. A couple feet, couple yards, maybe the whole distance. I want to see touchdowns put up on that board. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, Haywood Algic having more trouble with the snaps. Again, we're not quite sure what the problem is. It looks like that center is just sending them down there a bit low.
as they get ready. They have one wide receiver. Looks like they're going to go for a run. No, they decide to throw it. Oh, he decides to take it himself. He's just brought down.
And that's Brandon.
Just to break even.
That's Brandon Sturgill again. He's hungry for his old positions back, and he's proving it by playing one of the hardest games we've seen him play so far.
And it's only the second quarter, folks.
And he's had 3 big tackles so far. He's been targeted as a wide receiver twice. Those passes both over his head. But there was a bit of a leadership problem with him last week, if I understand. But he's proving, hey, maybe I can be quite the leader still. And he's out there and he's working hard on every down. And that's something you really want to see out of middle schoolers.
Seems the refs were blowing their whistle for a little miscommunication error on the sidelines for Wiley. As we resume play, flags are throwing. It looked like number 50 of the offense, and that's being Terrell Maxwell, jumped a little too soon before the ball was hiked off to the quarterback.
And that snap was almost too high. It won't go down in the books as that, but as the penalty was called, but that snap almost over Aljic's head. And the problems there continue for this Wiley offense.
So it's 3 of 15. As they have Haywood back in quarterback.
And that was
another flag thrown on the play.
Trying to jump early was Cordy Stone. And those 5 yards come right back. So it's as if nothing just happened. 2 flags in a row, 2 5-yard penalties on each team.
So we're back at square one, folks. 3rd down and 10 to go. Another drop pass. Intended receiver was number 29. And looks like we do not have a current name for that number. But it may have been 25, actually, Jordan Merritt.
Well, we'll see it on the replay if they're... And we'll see here on the replay. Looks like that is 25, Jordan Merritt.
Your eyes must be way better than mine, Hyatt.
And that kind of quick throw so soon, I'm not sure if you can expect the guy to catch that.
A little too low to the ground. Little high was snap. He kicks it off straight up in the air. They let it fumble around a little bit, and there is.
Well, General Johnny Wilson taking over at the 31. Good field position once again for this offense.
The offense comes back on, and they are led out by their team captain, Thomas Gillespie, who is the center for offense and defense.
Yeah, he plays, like many players, he plays on both sides of the ball. And we do not know the time as it is kept on the field, not on the scoreboard. But you have to feel that in this second quarter, first half, the time is winding down. It would be a big boost for General Johnny Wilson to go up 2 scores before this half ends.
A little miscommunication yet again on the field. But as we take a little break, why don't we look at the size discrepancy of both these teams? You can definitely tell that Wilson is has beaten the size comparison of the Wiley Middle School team.
Well, as we've seen with Nazir Johnson, size isn't always the most important thing.
Absolutely.
He's made some good plays at defensive back for General Johnny Wilson. He's only 4'11", 87 pounds, but he plays just like he's everyone else out there. And so some confusion on the field as Timothy Miller attempts to bring his offense out.
Gary Surgan of the defense for Wiley just came back onto the field.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a equipment problem as that referee appears to be attempting to fix something.
Looks like
on
a
his
chin
helmet.
strap wasn't completely buckled on correctly. But anyway, the referee took care of it, so let's get back to football. Let's get ready for some football. As Timothy Miller sits up under the center. He hikes it off around the right. Loses the ball. And Wiley recovers it.
Daryl Davis, the
He may be the speedster, but however, he needs to work on the hands a little bit. But that is all right because it's still 8-0. Wiley has possession of the ball now. That was a great wrap-up by the defender.
Well, you'll see it here. Davis Jr., one hand on the ball, trying to make a juke move. His arm is exposed there, and the player, I think it was, Aldrich, the quarterback, able to punch the ball out. There were two guys there. As he was being wrapped up, the ball pops right out. Wiley recovers it, and another good opportunity for General Johnny Wilson lost on a turnover.
Second quarter, and it's got to be winding down pretty soon. But you got to think about what is going to be their way to get back on to get 8 points on the field.
And more equipment problems. This is Terrell Maxwell's helmet being looked at by the referee.
As we always got to give a shout out to is the referees. Thank you, refs, for always being there to help us out, call great plays. And thank you that the refs are back in the NFL, baby. Thank you.
Yeah, that eye-opening experience showed us how important refs are everywhere.
Absolutely. He throws a and just out of the hands of Daryl Davis Jr.
Davis Jr. looking to make up for his fumble there with an interception. I know he would have loved to haul that one in with a lot of field in front of him.
Then he would have had a better chance of getting more respect with the coaches off of that loss and fumble last play.
I'm sure if he was able to come down with that ball with the speed he has, he would have more than made up for the yardage he lost in the fumble.
He would have gone through the end zone and kept on running until he went home. He would have tucked that ball under his pillow and he would have just kept it there.
But
as both teams get back to the line.
And so that opportunity, not so for Davis Jr. Wiley's offense still on the field.
Daryl Davis is a great athlete. He really is. We really see him on both ends of the ball, really giving it his all. He's running every single which way he can. He's yelling, "Hey, I'm open." And as we see the coaches get a little upset with their players. Well, Revis to the left. He's running. Just tackled down by number 8, Nazier Johnson. That little guy has got such big heart, such big competitive strive. Oh, my goodness. He is just doing it, most of the stuff on defense.
And Haywood Aldrich, who was the quarterback for Wiley, sitting on the bench, appears to be in pain. He's not coming back onto the field. And as we said earlier, not a lot of guys on this bench for Wiley. One injury, a man goes down. That's another guy off the bench that you can't use later. Guys are getting tired faster. And that's still, when your quarterback goes down, that is a pivotal part of your team.
As these two teams get lined back up, will you wait to snap? They try to switch it up and have Cook as the quarterback on that play.
Cook has shown that he is able to run the ball. He's had a couple fake punts run to him, as he is also the punter. However, he's been facing the same snap troubles that all of Wiley has.
And it seems as if when he goes to kick it off, he's not even kicking it off with the proper edging of his foot as he should be. He's getting it straight up in the air to the point he's giving them the defense, which is going to be soon to be the offense of the Eagles. He's giving them a great chance of getting another 6 points on the board. Cook hands it off to Reeves. Reeves is wrapped up, and he's brought down for a negative amount of yards.
Yeah.
It looked like he lost a yard on that play.
And Reeves is slow to get up now. And that's not something you want to see.
Absolutely not.
Aldrich on the bench already.
These two teams are out here to have fun, enjoy the same game.
Reeves, we'll see on the replay, brought down kind of tough. Slung at the last moment. He's lying on the field. Holding up the leg, that's often a sign of cramps.
Yes.
And while that may not be a serious long-term injury, that hurts.
I've experienced this. I used to play a little basketball back in my day. But I definitely know what it feels like to have cramps, and you definitely want to eat a lot of bananas before each game.
Well, this gives me time to say that Lorain City Schools is currently accepting applications for the following coaching positions: Longfellow girls basketball, Longfellow head coach of wrestling, Longfellow assistant coach of wrestling, General Johnnie Wilson head of wrestling, General Johnnie Wilson assistant wrestling, Lorain High assistant girls basketball, Lorain High assistant boys basketball, and Lorain High assistant wrestling. And with a timeout taken on the field, I can jump right into the Lorain Schools Employees Credit Union. Are you employed by or retired from the Lorain City Schools? If the answer is yes, then pay close attention to the following. Don't be penalized with low interest rates on your investments. Step up in the pocket and pass your funds to the Lorain School Employees Credit Union. We will tackle the competition so you win the financial game of interest. Choose a certificate of deposit and watch your APY score the maximum. Call us at 282-4600.
You finished just in time too, High, to see these two football teams get back to the line.
And Aldrich is back out there, as is Reeves, so that's always good to see.
Hi, have you ever played any sports?
I have not. There's a reason I'm up in the booth right now.
What seems to be your favorite sport, though?
Well, I thoroughly enjoy watching football. I'm a hockey guy, which you don't see a lot of in Ohio, but dedicated to those two sports, and I love watching and announcing them.
That's good. Oh, and a completion from Hayward straight down the middle of the field.
That's Jordan Merritt coming up with the catch.
That was a nice throw and a nice catch. Heavily guarded, but still he came down with it.
And Aldrich appears to still be in pain, walking or jogging awkwardly off the field. He took a hit at the end of that throw, and he's coming back on despite this. He had to be helped up by his teammates. Good to see he's persevering through all of this.
A hit like that would definitely knock the wind out of me as well.
Trying to keep his team in the game.
But you know how he got that win back in, Hyatt?
How?
By making that completion to his receiver. He was able to pick himself back up without his inhaler, and he was able to breathe. So as we get back to the line, Hayward hands it off to Revis around the right. Remember, he just had cramps, but he seemed all right on that play. He seemed as if he was running like a natural-born athlete on that one. Just brought down, so it's going to be second and about 8.
Wiley taking a timeout, likely to stop the clock here.
To conserve some time.
Again, the time kept down on the field. We're not quite sure of it, but the coaches both know, and you have to think, again, that's why they're taking a timeout here, nearing the end of this second quarter.
Seems as if 74 got a little banged up on that play, but you know, it's always good to see him walking off the field by himself.
Corday Stone.
And we will definitely let you know about what's going on with Corday Stone later on in the game. As we see Wilson talking with his young athletes. And we see these great camera angles due to Channel 20.
Yeah.
We have Joe Bach up here running the switchboard for us. You have me and Hyatt Hernan also doing the commentating. You have Jay Santana doing the graphics for us. And we have Mr. Young Terry Trout on the field giving some great camera angles. And Bob Schlenbaker, he's here somewhere supervising us all.
I think he's in control of the camera we're seeing right now, so we owe him something.
Absolutely. He's doing a great job.
Aldrich can't make it 2
Just
for 2
an
there.
overthrown ball yet again. Aldrich seems pretty banged up still. I bet he was hoping he had a receiver to catch that one so he can get the win back on that one.
Well, he's kind of walking awkwardly, hunched over.
And as we said before, they don't have that deep of a bench. All they have is 3 players, and I believe one of them was already banged up.
And Aldrich's choosing to stay in the game still.
You got to wonder if this is a wise choice on this young man's behalf. You don't want to see no one really end up getting hurt.
Yeah, obviously no one wants to see an injury at this level of play.
Absolutely not. These kids are still young. They have a bright future ahead of them. Little fumble. He's trying to run his hardest. He's running around. He just juked the defender. Brought him down. And that tackler is Daryl Davis Jr. He said, hold on a moment. You guys are not getting the first down. Not on my watch.
Aldrich doing a good job after the failed snap.
I like to point out really one good thing. That last juke he just made, he had a defender coming right at him. He said, whoop, not catching me today. Spun right around.
And it looks like that ends the half. The score, 8, General Johnny Wilson, 0, Wiley Middle. We'll be back with some more exciting middle school football action after some of these messages from WLCS Channel 20.
Excuse me. Excuse me, are you Santa Claus? I heard you might be him. If you are him, here's my list.
Help the Marines make Christmas possible for less fortunate children. Donate a new toy to Toys for Tots.
Here's Santa Claus.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
We're back here with third quarter action from George Daniel Field. Brandon Sturgill wrapped up far behind the back in the backfield.
Heavily guarded on that play.
And so General Johnny Wilson has a long way to go on second down. 2nd and 22 coming up.
So what's the main key points have you seen on both these teams' defenses?
Well, defensively, both teams have actually been doing pretty well. General Johnny Wilson has had the better starting positions, has had the better field position overall in the game.
Wilson has definitely got stronger
I believe that's
linebackers.
why they have the 8-0 lead right now.
Absolutely.
But they start off far behind here. Davis Jr. trying to find room with that speed of his. He's tripped up at about the 29-yard line.
I'm not sure if you noticed that, but if we have a replay, I think the people at home should watch this one. After that nice wrap up in the hand from last quarter, how he fumbled the ball away. This time, if you guys watched it, he kept his both hands, as he ran up the middle with it.
And we're being told we don't have a replay, but I'm sure that's not the last time Davis Jr. will be handling the ball today.
Coaches really got on about that. You know what? Criticism is always the best thing to leading to perfection.
Miller under center, keeping it himself. He's met and brought down by Andre Levinson in the backfield.
-4.
He grabbed on and he was not letting go. No matter how hard Timothy Miller tried, he was brought down for a loss of 4. That brings up 4th down.
And about 20.
Well, after the big loss on 1st down, it was quite the hole for General Johnny Wilson to climb out of. And the punting team comes on to the field. Brandon Sturgill back to receive the snap, and he's looking to punt it away unless, of course, we see a fake. We've seen a couple from Wiley. But no, this is the real deal. Brandon Sturgill punting it away. A good General Johnny Wilson bounce, but that will only get it to the 45-yard line. So overall in the drive, they start at the 35. They punt it only 10 yards to the 45. It's Wiley now who has the good field position in this third quarter. Do you think that'll make a difference?
Not really. I don't really think it'll make a difference. I believe that it's both fair sides. But I do want to say one thing. I do think one main difference in this football game is going to be obviously Wilson's linebackers. Because they're definitely a strong group of men. in that backfield, and I'm saying men because they are big and strong, and they are going to knock down the offense.
Well, that is the core they build their defense around, and they're led by
yes, they are big
they're
and
led
strong.
by Quentin Pardon, number 91, who leads the team in tackles so far. Another bad snap and brought down behind the line. That's Aldrich. If you did not see the first half, one of the stories of the game were those low, hard-to-handle snaps that both Aldrich and Reeves have tried to handle.
They've tried so hard to make them better, too. It's just like in the second quarter when they went to try to revamp their snapping, they were snapping too high. And now they're snapping too low. I can only assume next quarter is going to be snapping too high.
And obviously, they seem to be sticking to running out of the shotgun. Another bad snap for Aldrich. He has to pick that one up and try to make.
Haywood does not know where to go with it.
He has to try to pick that one up and make something out of nothing. That's Corday Stone who brought him down. And if you saw in the second quarter, he was off the field with a slight injury. Good to see he's back in the game, and good to see he's still making an impact. As you'll see here, just wrapping up Aldrich and bringing him down.
He almost looked like a lifeless dummy on the field there for a second.
And Aldrich has had injury troubles, so you obviously don't want to see something happen to him. But when you're playing a physical game like football, I mean, that's just going to happen, hits like that. And so 3rd and long coming up for this, excuse me, Wiley offense. Aldrich in the shotgun, Reeves next to him.
Coaches blow their whistle. Apparently something had occurred.
The referee talking to the two
the
teams.
Offensive line.
And they reset their position. Aldrich still in the shotgun. Takes the snap.
Haywood throws
the quick
it
pass
to Reeves.
It's a catch. And that is Andre Levinson. He's brought down just short of the first down, 4th down and 4. I would be extremely surprised to see them and to see Wiley not going for it here on a 4th and short situation.
I'm so confused. I see all these bright colors, pinks, and they see bright yellows, and it's just distracting my eye. I swore that was Reeves, but I was deeply wrong on that one.
Well, this is Reeves awaiting the snap.
They switched up quarterbacks.
He's taken a few snaps today, trying to find room to the right. Looked like nothing there, but he powered forward and was able to get the first down. That's important for this Wiley offense. They move inside the 35. The last time they were here, a couple bad snaps and fumbles, they weren't able to capitalize.
I'm not sure who that was, but on the offense for Wiley, there was apparently some player taking a knee. I wasn't sure if it was 40 or 50.
It looked to me like Terrell Maxwell, who will be number 50, the lineman.
He may have just ran out of the gas in his system there for a second. He probably have to go to the sidelines, get a little refueled up.
And Aldrich, under center now. Takes the snap, a little bit of trouble with that.
And there's those linemen, as I was speaking about earlier.
And the quick handoff to Shears, nothing there, as General Johnny Wilson able to penetrate that offensive line for Wiley and make its presence known. Still looked like maybe some snap complications. Still, that is not an excuse for that kind of blocking. And General Johnny Wilson brings down Shears for a loss of 1.
That looked like an Army operation going on right there. Mission, search, and destroy.
And the target, Jared Shears. 2nd and 11.
This is a much more better improved football team than there was against
Aldrich. The low snap, unable to do anything but fall on it. That is a loss of almost 10, putting his team back to where they started near the 45-yard line, bringing up 3rd down and 20, excuse me.
This is a much improved football team compared to when they were playing, when the Wilson Eagles were playing Heritage, though, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, last week against Heritage, a tough loss for General Johnny Wilson, but they have been able to bounce back today, especially this defense with the way they've been playing.
Not that many points, but it's not about the points really right now. It's about how they're all playing right now.
Exactly, and it's 8-0 here in the third quarter, and General Johnny Wilson wouldn't be upset if it stays 8-0 for the rest of the game, because that means they'll be on top, and that's really all that matters.
Yes, sir.
Aldrich in the shotgun. Reeves next to him, looking to throw it, way overthrown, and that is intercepted by, excuse me, number 23. That is Frank Butcher. Frank Butcher making the big play.
We've not heard that much from him, but I can definitely tell you that he definitely has made a name for himself on that play.
Well, it's him and Navier Johnson. Navier Johnson, of course, 4'11", 87 pounds. But, of course, we can't skip over the small Frank Butcher, only 5 feet tall, 86 pounds. And these two little guys are making the big plays in the defensive backfield today for General Johnny Wilson as they take control at the 19-yard line, 1st and 10. Wiley having to rush into their defensive positions.
Miller hands it off.
Taking the snap, handing it off to Brown, who powers ahead for 4 to 5 yards. More tough running from Jack Brown. Just going straight ahead and not looking at all to the east or to the west, just north and south completely.
And you know what I liked about that play? Jack Brown did not stop. He kept his legs keep moving. He did not stop until his knees finally hit the ground.
Timothy Miller under center. Brown and Davis behind him. Another quick handoff to Brown. Brown powering ahead through some tacklers. It looked like he was wrapped up, able to keep his feet moving, finally brought down at the 43-yard line, but not until after the first down was gained for these General Johnny Wilson Eagles. You'll see it again here on the replay.
So you see here, Jack Brown's got 2 defenders on him. Here in a second, here we go. His legs are being taken out, and then all you see is Haywood come over top of all the defenders and just tackle him from the chest high down to the ground.
And a penalty near the end of that play.
Down goes Haywood.
Well, excuse me. It appears as if that was actually the end of the quarter. So as the ball is placed on the other side of the field, the chain gang moves, the team moves, and we're moving on to the fourth quarter after these messages from WLCS Channel 20.
Plant inspiration. Provide youth with the creative tools and skills to cultivate it. And you'll be amazed at what can grow. Adobe Youth Voices and the Peapod Foundation. Learn more at plantandinspire.org.
All right, and we are back with the fourth quarter. The score is 8-0 in favor of the Johnny Wilson Eagles. And as we're back, you just seen a nice tackle play, and the possession of the ball is in Wiley's favor.
Well, General Johnny Wilson has the ball, but that was a good spot for Wiley. I think that's where you're going with that. Timothy Miller trying to keep it himself on a run, kind of a play that fell apart. He was able to get 4 yards, kind of wrapped down awkwardly at the end of the play, and the position goes more towards Wiley, which is what you were trying to say. So
Thomas Gillespie hikes it off to Timothy Miller. Timothy Miller hands it off to Jack Brown. Jack Brown is taken down about the 45-yard line. That's a gain about 6 on the play. That's a nice run and a quick gain of yards for the young Jack Brown.
Jack Brown taking a lot of the workload today.
You don't see it that much, but the replacement for Dominique Smith is really hanging in there, and he is doing a great job as if Dominique Smith never even freaking left. He's doing an incredible job.
Well, Jack Brown taking those quick handoffs, lined up in the fullback position in the I formation, able to just power ahead. He's getting 4, 5, 6 yards on every play. Not much more usually, but consistency is one of the most important things in a running back.
Hands it off yet again to Jack Brown. Jack Brown keeps fighting for more yards, over 1 defender, over 2, and he is finally brought down to about the 44, I'd say.
Well, Jack Brown, you'll see it on the replay here, met by a man in the backfield right here, keeps those pink socks moving ahead, getting the first down there. Pink socks, of course, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So a lot of the players wearing pink equipment, pink socks, pink arm warmers.
Which explains the brightness on that field tonight. Timothy Miller hands it off to 24, that being Daryl Davis Jr., and he is dropped in the backfield for a loss of yards.
Well, Daryl Davis Jr., he's had a lot of good plays today, speeding ahead. That's not one of them. He's met in the backfield easily.
He's had good plays and he's had bad plays. Number one bad play, you may have thought it was that play. It was actually in the second quarter when he actually fumbled the ball off and he lost the ball to Wiley's defense.
Well, Jared Shear's on the tackle, but if you can give Davis Jr. time to run, trust me, he'll make something out of it.
He will burn you in a heartbeat, believe me. Timothy Miller lines up on the center, hands it off to Jack Brown yet again, and this name is going to be known for the rest of this night. People are going to go home dreaming of Jack Brown.
Jack Brown taking a lot of the carries today, as we said earlier. A lot of it straightforward. You'll see it again here. May not be gaining much, about 3 or 4 yards, bringing up third down and long, but I don't think he's lost yards all day.
Have a new catchphrase. You got Brown on the mind?
Well, that definitely applies today.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if we'll be using it a lot when we see Longfellow playing. I'm not sure if they have a player named Brown, but for this very narrow scope, yes, that is a catchphrase that works well.
Timothy lines up under center yet again. He hands it off to Daryl Davis Jr., and Daryl Davis Jr. is yet again dropped in the backfield.
Brian Matthews getting there for Wiley.
You know, Davis Jr., he's a really good athlete. I mean, do not underestimate this young guy. He's just not getting that many opens.
Well, Brian Matthews is able to get into the backfield easily. The problem I've noted is that a lot of Davis Jr.'s plays are these longer developing plays where a lot of blocks need to be made and he needs a lot of room to get running. And those outside blocks aren't being made necessarily. Brian Matthews just getting right past the General Johnny Wilson blockers and bringing Davis Jr. down for a loss on the play, bringing up 4th down and long for General Johnny Wilson. And a timeout has been taken on the field, which gives me time to tell you about the Lorain School Employees Credit Union. Hey sports fan, high school sports are back. With the excitement of football and volleyball, it's hard to choose what to watch. So turn your channel to WLCS TV 20 and watch them all. Win, lose, or draw, our kids give their best. Lorain School Employees Credit Union supports our schools. 4459 Oberlin Avenue, Lorain, Ohio.
O-H-I-O. Absolutely, let's go. Back to some more football action on the field. Yes, Thomas Gillespie gets ready to hike it off.
And that is Brandon Sturgill, the punter back there.
He's not only the quarterback or the wide receiver, but he's also doing the punt work out there.
And Reeves getting a good return, a heavy hit at the end there. But it was not until before Reeves was able to take the ball down into General Johnny Wilson territory, and Wiley is only down 8-0 right now, 1 possession game, so that could be something that we look at as a game changer.
As we look at this punt return yet again, watch Reeves as he keeps his pads low and his head up high. Boom, and there's the contact. If you guys can only hear that sound from at home, you guys would be going, ooh, just as the crowd was.
And that's Brandon Sturgill, the punter, making another big hit. He's had quite the impact on defense here today, making a lot of big and important tackles. One right there, stopping Reeves, excuse me, on what was a nice return. Could have gone for more if it weren't for Sturgill.
And here we go. Both lines are ready. Haywood is quarterback, of course, as you guys have seen all game long. Haywood throws it off immediately to Cook, number 4. Cook would just not go down, but he finally went down after 8 yards of a drive on that catch.
Yeah, a lot of stutter stepping there by Cook. Wasn't able to find some room. I'm not quite sure if when you're surrounded by that many players, you should be fighting for yards, because a lot of times defenses are looking to rip the ball out of your hands.
Absolutely.
You can see it there on that tackle.
Get down in a hurry, because we do not need a fumble, is what the coaches are saying.
And that looks like it was number 66, Sly Worthy. A good, important decision by him, trying to get the ball out of Cook's hands because Cook wasn't going anywhere else.
One quick note, that's an awesome name, Slyworthy.
That is a good football name.
Back to Haywood, throws it down to Cook yet again. Cook has just tripped himself up, but he is down at about the 10-yard line. They are entering the goal line, almost.
And Cook putting his team in the red zone. A nice catch, able to get past the defenders, but he falls down. And in middle school, as soon as your knee goes down, you're down.
Absolutely.
If this was the NFL, we might have seen Cook get back up and punch it in for the touchdown.
When you all game we've been talking about the snap control and how the center does not know how to snap the ball off, right? But you know, it seemed like on that play, that was pretty nice. And on that play as well, just a little miscommunication on behalf of his receiver.
Yeah, as time goes on, especially in this third and fourth quarter, I've not noticed the snap problems nearly as much as I did in that first half. It looks like a halftime adjustment, or maybe just through practice and working things out, that snap has gotten better. And that is a General Johnny Wilson timeout.
While we're at a break in the game, why not kick it on over to the Lorain School Employees Credit Union? Are you employed by or retired from the Lorain City Schools? If the answer is yes, then pay close attention to the following. Red zone, end zone, O-zone. Got you confused? Make your next play call a touchdown with a certificate of deposit at the Lorain School Employees Credit Union. Our playbook has a CD rate that will score every time. Call your play at 282-4600 or stop by the office at 4459 Oberlin Avenue, Lorain, Ohio. O-H-I-O. Let's go back to some more action on the football field.
So Wiley with its first big opportunity of the game coming late here in the fourth quarter. The score is 8-0. Let's see if they can punch it in here from the 10-yard line.
Haywood yet again with a long snap, throws it, just gets in the end zone, and that looked like Jordan Merritt.
And it was Jordan Merritt making the nice catch and run, able to fake a tackler, making it 8-6 right now. It's in the fourth quarter. We're not sure how late time is being kept on the field.
What a way to get the points on the board, too, and such a dive in the end zone like that. That was a bold move by that young man.
Well, it looked like he could have been losing his balance after shaking the tackler. I'm not sure if that's hot dogging or if that's just what he needed to do to get in the end zone.
I think that was hot dogging. I'm not sure. Well, that definitely looked like a hot dog to me.
Well, either way, it puts 6 points on the board. Still, the 2-point conversion necessary to tie the game.
But as they line up for 2-point conversion, defense cannot stop them. They are in for 2, so we have a tied ball game here, folks. 8-8. Wiley with the nice drive. Nice possession of the ball, and then they get a nice 2-point conversion.
And it's
by Jerome Reeve.
That direct snap to Jerome Reeve. We've seen it quite a bit today.
We have heard that name all day, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Just along with the same name, Timothy Miller. And everybody else has him on his mind, and who will that be?
That's a Jack Brown, Zach.
Absolutely. We are going to sleep with that name in our minds tonight. We are not going to forget about that young man. Last week it was McGuigan and Hill, McGill. This week is Jack Brown all by himself and Timothy Miller. So we got to make him a new nickname for the end of the game, all right, Hyatt?
All right. Well, you're
Timothy Miller hands it off. Hands it off to Jack Brown, it looked like. And he is tackled for a loss.
Yeah, that's one of the first tackles for a loss we've seen on Jack Brown.
This is the duo of replacements. the replacement duo. We had to think of one.
And I think quite a bit of that was his choice to take it to the outside. We haven't seen that much from him today, usually taking it straight up the middle. And I don't think it's any coincidence the first time he tries to cut it to the outside, he's brought down for a loss. That outside has been taken away from these linebackers for Wiley all day long. Just ask Davis Jr.
Nate Brunt was in motion. And Timothy Miller decides to take it himself. Oh, and it was a bear hug tackle right there by Reeves. He was like, you are not getting that much more yardage.
And we'll see this one again on replay.
That was quite a leaping ability. He had a try for the basketball team.
Miller taking it himself, chased down by Reeves, and just watch this.
Watch number 3, bear claw time, down to the ground.
Both feet off the ground. I'm not sure if middle school referees like seeing both arms around the neck, but
that was a good tackle, I must say, though. A little too high for my likes and my taste, but you know what? A tackle's a tackle. And this is football. You can't take it, we don't belong on the field.
Important third down for General Johnny Wilson coming up.
Wilson
right
needs
now.
to respond back. He goes to fake the ball off to Darrell Davis, but Miller decides to take it himself, and it's taken out of his hand. Cook it. They're apparently calling the play back.
They said the General Johnny Wilson coaches are arguing that the whistle blew. It will be Wiley's ball. However, there was no return. It looked like Cook would have taken that one for a touchdown.
I bet Cook was like, what's going on, ref?
Well, if the whistle blows, the play is dead. However, Wiley gets the ball. We'll see here if Miller was down or if his forward progress was stopped. That ball is definitely out now. I'm not quite sure why the whistle was blown. That very well could have and would have been a touchdown for Wiley if the whistle had not blown. Now they have to go 41 yards to get those points on the board.
And they have a pretty good yardage to start off on. But we'll see on how they decide to call their plays on the next drive.
Well, they had a good drive last drive, able to take it down the field. I won't say with ease because this General Johnny Wilson defense is tough, but they definitely looked better than they have all day. Let's see if they can continue that on this drive here.
With a quick pass to Cook. Cook completes the pass. He catches it. And that is Nazir Johnson. It does look like to me. Yes, it is Nazir Johnson yet again trying to make a big stop. And he does. That could have been to the house, well, as Jay Ferguson would say.
Nazir Johnson holding on for dear life here. And he makes the tackle. Cook trying his hardest to get away. But still, Wiley now almost inside the red zone, looking to put late points up on the board to win.
Oh, he throws that ball up and almost intercepted by who?
Nazir Johnson.
Nazir. Doing a great job out there.
And he isn't afraid to throw all 87 pounds of his frame towards the ball. You'll see here, from a bad position, running and diving, completely sprawling out for that ball. Couldn't quite get there, but you still have to appreciate the effort at this level of play. As Aldrich lines up in the shotgun. Some confusion.
High snap, and there he is to get that ball. 91 for the defense, Quentin Pardon.
Quentin Pardon.
He is the leading tackler for the Eagles, and there he is with that great reception on picking up that miscommunication from the center to the quarterback.
And Quentin Pardon makes his defensive presence known just when we thought the snaps were getting better. I believe it was you who called it that we would be seeing high snaps this quarter. That's just what we see. Quentin Pardon in the backfield streaking towards the ball, able to make a huge impact play. And General Johnny Wilson gets the ball back one last time right when it looked like Wiley was knocking on the door.
Can I get that right, Hyatt, saying that you said I was right for once?
Yes, Zach, you were right in predicting the high snaps of the fourth quarter.
It's always nice to hear it twice. And he hands it off. Hands it off to Jake Brown yet again. And that looked like a sumo wrestling kind of sweep of the legs right to the ground.
And Jack Brown holding the ball with one hand there. It almost came loose at the end, landing on it. The ground cannot cause a fumble, but still, that's not what you want to see.
As we look at the replay,
some technical difficulties on the replay, but we'll get that to you as soon as we can.
And if not, that was still a great play. But as we're in the break of the game, let's get back over to the Lorain Schools Employee Credit Union. Hey sports fans, high school sports are back. With the excitement of football and volleyball, it's hard to choose what to watch. So turn your channel to WLCS TV 20 and watch them all. Win, lose, or draw, our kids give their best. Lorain School Employees Credit Union supports our schools at 4459 Oberlin Avenue, Lorain, Ohio. OH. Let's get back to the football field. Let's go.
Well, General Johnny Wilson's still huddling up. Wiley's ready to go. And as I've said all day, we are not quite sure of the time left. It is being kept on the field.
You gotta look at every time they get out, they break the huddle. You see Thomas Gillespie leading the charge. He's saying, "Come on, guys, let's rally our troops and let's take this to the town." Or as Jay Ferguson, yet again, I have to say, let's take it to the house.
Well, Thomas Gillespie is the captain of this team as well as the center, and he's really both the emotional leader and on the field leader. We've seen some miscommunications of snaps so far, but that could be attributed to Miller's first full game at quarterback.
Dale Davis Jr. wraps around to the right. This is going to be 3rd and about 3, it looks like.
And another timeout taken.
To preserve some more time. They're hoping to end it now. They want that victory. They can just taste it.
And you sense that there's not much time left now, as General Johnny Wilson taking quite a few timeouts to stop the clock here. We may very well see a Hail Mary attempt to get this ball into the end zone, as there is no overtime in middle school football. If the score is 8-8 when the game ends, it just ends as a tie.
Hi, I got a big question for you. Now, if you were the quarterback, Timothy Miller, and I'm going to give you 3 wide receivers, and I want you to choose which one you're going to throw a prayer up to and see if they'll catch it. All right, so let's see.
Well, I'd like to stop you there, Zach. I don't think we're seeing quarterback Timothy Miller. That's Brandon Sturgill lining up in the quarterback position. He's known to have the big arm. He used that arm against Longfellow 2 weeks ago, and I think we'll see him attempting to throw for the victory.
He throws up to number 15. 15 gets a little tripped up.
Timothy Miller.
Incompleted pass. And that was Timothy Miller on the trip up.
Timothy Miller, he's been playing quarterback today.
It switched a little roles up there for a second.
And Brandon Sturgill with the good throw, just a bit behind Timothy Miller. He wasn't able to keep his footing, falling backwards looking for the pass. And it appears as if we'll get one more chance for General Johnny Wilson. It is 4th down. So if they do not get a touchdown here or a first down, and the clock still has time on it, it will be Wiley's chance to attempt a Hail Mary for the victory.
Yet again, Sturgill under center. He throws it up yet again to Timothy Miller. Timothy Miller with a catch and out of bounds. What a great reception.
And Timothy Miller giving his team a big boost there, making it inside to the 25-yard line. A much better chance at a touchdown now.
As we watch the replay, he hurls that ball in the air. Timothy Miller comes down with that ball with 2 defenders on him.
Timothy Miller learned from last time. That ball a bit behind him now, but he's able to keep his footing while falling backwards and make the big catch. And we'll see a couple more chances for General Johnny Wilson here.
And what's that I hear? Ding dong, we're knocking on the garage. Almost into the end zone.
Brandon Sturgill brought down the ball, ripped away from him. And this could be
Jack Brown with the big stop.
Jack Brown bringing down Andre Levinson, who took the ball away from Sturgill. Looked like he could be running towards a wide open field and a touchdown to win the game. But Jack Brown makes what could be his last big play of the game, stopping Levinson short. But Wiley still with time on the clock. Or maybe not.
I found out of a nickname for those two. The replacements.
And yes, that will end the game. The final score 8-8. It looked as if General Johnny Wilson could have come back and won the game at the 25. The ball taken away by Wiley, and the end score 8-8. A tie game here at George Daniel Field, and that shows us exactly how these two teams played, even defensively, and overall good performances by both.
Absolutely.
And so we're just going to wrap it up here. This final score 8-8, Wiley Middle against General Johnny Wilson.
As we watch right here,
we'll get these highlights to you from the game. Here we see Timothy Miller under center. The
handoff to Jack Brown.
Jack Brown just taking it ahead. That would be General Johnny Wilson's only touchdown of the game early. Here, the touchdown for Wiley Middle, as that is Merritt able to dive into the end zone at the end there.
That hot dog dive.
And the 2-point conversion would tie the game at 8-all, as the 2-point conversion earlier for General Johnny Wilson was good. Here's that now. Miller taking it to the right side.
Knocking on the door of Dynasty.
So the score final 8-8, a very defensive game. And we see these middle schoolers taking a knee, listening to their coach, learning about the game of football. And that's the way you want to see a game end. This has been Wiley Middle, General Johnny Wilson. Final score 8-8 from George Daniel Field. And for all of us here at WLCS Channel 20, we'd like you to have a wonderful night. And until next time, this has been Hyatt Hernan
and Zachary Truman. Enjoy your night, folks. This was a great one.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.
To purchase a high-quality copy of the program you just viewed, please call Lorain City Schools Television at 282-8400.